Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat. It is time again for the hashtag 50 stack challenge. If you are not familiar with the 50 stack challenge, it started because I wanted to use up a whole stack of guest checks, and there are 50 of them in the brand that I buy, and I get mine from Walmart. These are a little thicker than some are thinner. You can use anything you want. You don't even have to use guest checks. You can use envelopes. You can just use a piece of paper that is about, how big are these? I can't ever remember. It's like 3 1/4 or something. I don't know why I can't ever figure this thing out. Okay. 3. Yeah, it's a little over 3 1/2 by, so you could go 3 1/2 by 6 1/2 is roughly what they are. I think they're listed as 3 3/4 on, like, if you buy them by 6 1/2. Doesn't matter. Anyway, roughly a piece of paper or something that size will work as well if you don't have access to guest checks. Okay. So then what happens is every week I draw 2 prompts, because each week I do 2 guest checks. So it's 1 prompt per guest check. For example, let me grab one that I haven't used as an example. I drew black for guest check number 9, and the weeks don't matter, because it doesn't matter when you start. You can start at any time that you want to, and you can do 1 guest check a week, or 5 guest checks a week, whatever you feel like doing. If you're behind, don't worry about it. Just go along. It's meant to be fun so that you can build up some ephemera. That's really all it is. So just enjoy it. But anyway, I drew black for guest check number 9, so I did my little crazy witches there. And then index card was guest check number 10. So I have an index card made into a pocket, and then I also cut the piece that I cut off into a little tag to go in the pocket. So you're just using the 1 prompt and anything else you feel like to decorate your guest checks or your envelope or your piece of paper or whatever. Okay. So that's all it is. It's super simple, and like I said, it's meant to be fun and just to add to your ephemera. Yeah, so this is the list of all the past prompts, so you can take a screenshot of that if you would like, so that you can get all of them. We are up to guest checks number 25 and 26. Okay. So I'm going to draw guest check number 25's prompt, and you can see I just have a bag full of little written out prompts there. So I'm just going to try to grab one here. Wax. So we need to use wax on number 25. So like a, what do you call it? Those seals you could use, the wax seals, or you could put beeswax on it, or you can take a candle and, you know, kind of melt it onto there or something like that. You could even actually technically use like crayon, because they are also wax. So I'm going to put wax here. All right, so that's number 25. I'm just trying to keep this all straight in my head. Alright, I'm going to draw another one. This one is a magazine image. So find any image that you like in a magazine, clip it out, and use it on your guest check. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. So number 26 is magazine. Okay. Alrighty, so that is what we have this week. Wax for number 25 and magazine image for number 26. So I am going to get some stuff together, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and I have waxed this whole piece of paper. This is my black and white Christmas digital, one of the pages, and I don't know if you can tell. It's really hard to tell, but I've waxed the whole page, and the way I did this is I have this, and this I bought specifically at a thrift store or whatever, you know, I can't even remember. It's been so long ago. And I used just an old candle. You can see how it's all melted because I just turn it on, put the paper on there, and do the whole thing like that. I would show you guys, but I have no place to plug this in over here where I'm at because all the light things are taken and they're all back behind there. And anyway, it's just a big hoo-ha, and this cord is not very long, as y'all know if you have one of these little, these are you know, to make pancakes or breakfast or whatever, but I specifically bought it for this, and this is all it's ever been used for. I originally bought it to use with my kids and in the preschool, and I know that sounds insane, but we used to put socks, like long socks, over their arms up to their elbows, and then let them take color crayons with the wrappers off, and then they could just color on paper and the wax would melt. And of course it was one child at a time, with me sitting right next to them. But anyways, because I would not advise, don't be like, oh, here, do this. No, warning, warning, warning. Somebody has to be sitting right next to them because they will want to pull off the socks, and if they did like lay their hands on it for too long or something, obviously like you just need to be very attentive when doing that. But if you have like grandkids and you can work with one, it's a super fun thing to do, and kids just love it because the wax just melts all over. So that's how that all started. I used to let my kids like make cards and wrapping paper and just stuff like that. But anyways, so I still have the plate. So I just took one of my old candles and just went all over this piece of paper while it was sitting on the hot plate, and on just warm. It's just on warm. It doesn't need to be on any high temperature or anything. And if yours is different, you know, because some of them may not heat the same and whatever, you might have to turn it up a tiny bit, but you don't have to turn it up much. But anyways, you can get a whole sheet of waxed paper. Now this doesn't smell good or anything. I know a lot of people use beeswax and like craft irons and stuff like that, and then it smells really good. This doesn't smell like anything, but that's fine for me because I don't necessarily want a lot of scent. But that's how all that got started, and so I had it, and I was like, I'm going to use my hot plate. So if you see one at a thrift store or someplace like that, it's just kind of a good thing to have around. Well, I mean, obviously for cooking, but don't use the one that you melt wax on for cooking, obviously. you need separate items for that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just cut, I don't know, like a 1/2 inch roughly. As you can see, I'm not measuring, outside of where I want this to be, roughly, because I'm going to turn it into a pocket. That little image there with the bird and the little, it's only going to get part of the house, but I'm not that worried about it, because we can work with that. So how are you all? I don't know if I said that it's been a day or so, because it always takes me a while to figure out what in the world I want to do and all that. Some days it comes right to me, but other days it takes me a minute. And I've just been busy this week. Oh, my car, good news on my car. I'm pretty sure I want to cut this just basically right about here. It was the battery. I just thought it was the computer because it was so many weird things happening, like the hatch didn't close one day and started to open while I was driving, and it was just doing so many weird things. I thought it had to be the computer, and it wasn't doing like, you know, I've had cars forever. Normally when the battery's going out, you'll have it. I've got paint spatters all over this. I apologize. It's not dirt. It's gold paint. Oh my gosh. Sorry, drawing a blank. When the battery's going out, like, you know, it might be hard to start the car or whatever. But no, this was more like just random weird lights coming on the dashboard. When I would take my foot off my brake, the foot brake, it would say my parking brake had been released. I mean, just very strange things were going on. And so I just assumed it had to be the computer. Well, it wasn't. It was the battery. So although that was quite expensive, it was nowhere near as expensive as it could have been. So I am ecstatic about that. Okay, so I'm trying to think. I guess we're going to have just a tiny bit of that showing. So what did I do here? I didn't measure. If you're precise, I know I drive you insane because I am not. So I apologize. If you're super precise, like you like everything measured, I'm bad at that. I'm just kind of winging it, trying to make, you know, a pocket to go on this, and that'll work. So then I want to fold up the bottom a tiny bit too. We're doing basically like you would do for a coin envelope or something of that nature. So yeah, I was super happy about that, and everything's good with my son, which you guys kind of already knew because I told you he did not cheat. I mean, of all classes too, I was like, I knew he didn't cheat in there, but anyways, so that's all been sorted. And then found my daughter. So everything got worked out from all the crazy that happened last week on Monday. Isn't it crazy how that happens? And it affects your whole week. Like, it's like a snowball coming downhill. Felt like a little bit. So, anyhow, all is well, which is awesome. Thank the good Lord, right? And I hope you all get out and vote. Please vote. Please vote. Please vote. And that's all I'm going to say. Just please vote. I'm going to ink around that a little bit. I already voted. And my kids voted. My hubby voted. So we're all good. Alright, so I want to see the 25 up here at the top. Come on now. So I'm probably going to just go ahead and go down to the bottom. And I think that'll work best. This is very, how did I do that? Well, you know me in a straight line, that doesn't work very good. But I scored it, so it's like, seriously. Guess I still messed it up. So I'll just pull it over a little more, and hopefully that will work. Let me see now. And yes, if you do that crazy thing called measuring, it will probably come out much better. It's like it just needed to come over just a tiny bit more. Oops. So, happy Halloween to everybody. I forgot that was what Monday will be, is Halloween. Seems like we've been doing Halloween stuff for so many days that, or so many months or whatever, that it's here. That's the way I always feel about Christmas too. Well, Christmas is different because there is so much more that goes into it. Alright, so I would advise measuring. You'll have better results, but that's fine. Okay. Except I've got a little piece of wax that wants to... Where's that actually part of the... That is one thing. It is going to make your paper... it will give it the possibility of cracking, obviously, because it's got wax over the top of it. But... it should be fixable. I'm going to use Eileen's Tacky Glue because I don't do Fabri-Tac. It's just a me thing. It's nothing wrong with Fabri-Tac itself. I just can't stand it on my hands. So if you're new to my channel, that is why I don't use it. I always forget to do that at the top, so just so you don't see that flap. So yeah, and I've always had luck with tacky glue. I've never had an issue, so hopefully this will work with this. But if you have Fabri-Tac, it'd probably be a good thing if you do one of these whole pages of waxed paper, because you know, I don't know how well it's gonna glue and stay. Sorry, I was just thinking there for a minute. And I know, kind of generic, because I always do these pockets, but I mean, I don't know. There's only so much you can do with a guest check. And since I'm going to use them in journals and stuff, I don't want to get them too thick, so I try not to go too crazy with the complexity of it. Alright, I think that's good. I hope it stays. Otherwise, it'll be all for naught, right? Get that? No. How I always manage to make it wonky. Okay, so guest check 25 is wax, and we're gonna put a tag in there, and I'm gonna put a wax seal on that as well. So I have, I'll turn it to this side. This, and I have my lighter that hopefully will work. I'm not going to be totally sold on that, but sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I can't ever do it with one hand because my thumbs are so messed up. I might actually go ahead and try to do it over here and peel it off, just because if you once it's on there, it's on there. So you got to kind of let it melt down a little, and I haven't done this forever, so chances are I'll probably mess it up. I never did get really all that into this wax melting thing because I don't like having a lighter up here in my craft room. I just figure paper and fire is a really bad combination. And since this is where I do most of my crafting, it's just, I don't want to, you know what, I think I'm just going to have to use this thing because it just is not going to melt. And the problem with these sticks that I have found is they don't melt fast enough and the wax starts to heat up before, or not heat up, oh my gosh, Amy, like solidify, you know, before you get enough to do the seal with. So especially because it's really cold in my room right now. No, that's not good. See, this is why fire's bad in my room. Okay, I just melted that whole thing. Yeah, and I don't like that smoke going either. Okay, but I did wax, right? I do love this. To me, that's the way to do the wax thing. I suppose I could put one of those on that hot plate and do it, but I don't know if that would work or not, because it just does like a thin layer. I don't know if this is ready or not. I'm going to set this aside and we'll work on the other one and then we'll revisit once it sets up. It's probably fine, but okay, so 26 was magazine image. As you can see, I'm going the Christmas direction because that's kind of what I'm focusing on at the moment. So what I'm gonna do is, I found this image in a, what was it? Sunset magazine, an old one from the 50s, but I love this, and so that's gonna go on there. But what I want to do first is put some other paper on here. This is just copy paper, and that's a page from my black and white Christmas digital, and so I want to strengthen this, but I do like the tear. I needed to tear it a little bit more because I want to see the 26, so we're just going to go ahead and put this on, let it set for a minute, and then tear it again as close to that as possible. Just get the edge really, really good. And I'm going to leave the back flap without the paper on it. I mean, I guess I could put it on there, but I'm going to do something else for that. So okay, so I will go ahead and put it over the fold just so that it'll strengthen my fold, and then I'll trim it wherever it's, or tear it wherever it's hanging off. I do want to make sure this is glued really well, because I'm going to turn this into a pocket, very much like the envelope from last week. I just liked that pocket a lot. It was very handy, and it wasn't super obvious, and it didn't take up a lot of room. The one thing I didn't think of is what to put in that pocket, but we'll figure that out eventually. I'm doing this because if I put a tag in here, I want it to be able to slide in and out. I don't want to have it getting caught up on that edge. Okay. All right, so then that has to dry too. But I can flip it over. Oh, I know what I wanted to do too. I'm going to put this strip along here so that if you see any of it from the other side of the guest check, because the guest check will be like this and it'll be a pocket back behind. If you see any of it, it'll be the black paper that you'll see. It's sticky. So you guys all working on Christmas stuff, or does anybody do like a Thanksgiving journal? Oh, I had a subscriber say she would like it if I did like a recipe type journal and like put you know, holiday recipes and stuff like that. I don't have any of those binders. I don't ever find those old binders like Gail Augustinelli does. That was what she mentioned, is using one of those, and I don't have any of those, and I never see those. The other issue being I barely can figure out what to make for dinner most of the time. So I'm just gonna say I'm not much of a foodie. Like, I don't have, I mean, I have the general sort of family recipes, you know, but we don't do a whole lot. Like, even Christmas morning, I just kind of make something simple, and then we do, you know, a regular Christmas dinner. So I'm probably not the best person or the most exciting person to do a journal like that. And I'm sorry, because I know I ask for ideas and then you give me an idea and I'm like, you know, I can't do that. But I just don't think that it would be great, because that's just not my, I'm not very good with coming up with ideas for food, or I don't have like a lot of, I just have like the generic, you know, turkey dinner kind of thing. I don't have anything really different than anybody else does or anything like that. So I apologize, because I know I ask for an idea and then I'm like, oh, I can't really do that one. But I just don't think you would get much enjoyment out of it, is what I'm going to say. And I, like I said, I don't have one of those cookbooks, unfortunately, either. So anyways, I apologize about that. I will be doing Christmas journals though, you know, a few. I'm not going to do a ton. I think I'm going to do more Christmas ephemera and put it in my shop. Just make Christmas ephemera, just because I know everybody kind of has their own way they like to do either a December daily or whatever. Or they want like a smaller gift. Sometimes the journals are, you know, too much or whatever for a gift, and so I think I'll just do some kind of small-ish projects, if that makes sense, for Christmas. Because, you know, I got all my Christmas stuff to do too, so that is something to think about. Alright, so I'm going to tear this along here, luckily, because I managed to get glue all over it. I'm going to try to sort of keep it the way it is as much as possible with having, I can't reach. Because I do like, I want to see the snowflakes, right, as much as possible, and they're already going to get covered a lot by that couple. Okay. So that will go in here like this. It'll flip open, be able to write here, and then we'll put that couple on there, right here. And see, you're only going to see smatterings of those, but that's okay. I want to keep the mistletoe up there too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was a Sunset magazine that I had from the 50s. Where I found that. Okay, so put them on there. Try to show as much of the snowflakes as I can. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little thumb notch there just so, I mean, you're not really going to see it anyway, but because it would get glued onto the the journal page. I don't think that was quite middle. Right. And then I'm just going to glue that the way I did that envelope last week. Now let's put a little more ink back here, because you will see this side. And I'm going to go across the top, again, bottom. And then just down this, very not straight. When you have the crazy shaky hands, right? Oh, I don't know if this one will be able to be cut into, I guess it can still be cut in tag shape. Come on now, glue down. It's being persnickety. Okay. Let's see, do we want to cut tag shape? I don't know. Yeah, I think it'll work. That corner's not really got anything going on, so I think that'll work. This one. Gosh. He's coming in here and he's snorting and snotting. I have a heater going, so he's gonna come see me. Cat cracks me up for having so much fur. You'd think he would not want anything to do with the heater, because in the summer he doesn't want us to hold him or anything like that. I think he just gets too hot, but he does love sunshine and a heater. Fold that back. Okay, and then on the inside I'm just going to put a couple of snowflakes, because like I said, I want it to be a writing spot, so I don't want to cover it up with a bunch of stuff. And these are snowflakes that are in my Etsy shop. They are laser cut. They're very fragile, so just know that, because, you know, they're thin little bits. But anyways. Oh, and people have been asking, because I'm a big dope and didn't put it in the description in my Etsy shop, but they run from 1 inch to 3 inches, and I did fix that, so it is on there now, but they're all different, a variety of sizes, starting at 1 inch, and they go up to 3 inches diameter. So I apologize to all you that, I don't know what in the world. I even sold these last year and I never put that on there. I'm such a dork. Oh my goodness. That is not my strong suit, I will tell you, is that whole selling stuff. Like descriptions and marketing, and that is just not my thing. I would love to have somebody do all that for me and just have them say, just make stuff. Be like, oh yeah, no problem, I can do that. But I can't even afford to pay myself, really, so that's not happening. Barely eking by. As it is. I have a friend, and her and her husband sold they had an auto body shop, and they sold it and kind of retired and all that, and she's like, oh, I would love to work for you. I said, I can't even really pay myself, so thank you, but I don't think that'll work. I'd love to have her work for me too, but all right, so that one is all ready to go, and I don't know what I'm going to put in there. I'll find something. But I just love that image. I kind of feel like I need another little something on there. Maybe another snowflake, so that you can actually see a whole snowflake on there instead of just partial snowflakes. Let's see. How many tiny ones? Probably used all my tiny ones, huh? They're usually the ones I end up using first, I think. That one's kind of tiny. There's tinier ones, if you can believe it. I don't think I have any cut in here. Oh, there's one. The itty bittiest. So that one could go there. Let's see. It's too big. Yeah, I think I'll do 3 of them on that front part. Can you guys see okay? And these are another thing, kind of like the numbers. I do continually cut once I start. I mean, they weren't in my shop over the summer because there's not really a point, but once I start cutting them again, I keep cutting. I just sometimes run out, and so just check back again and they'll, you know, show up or whatever. It's just kind of one of those things that I continually cut. They just sometimes run out, so I try to stay caught up on it, but every once in a while it gets away from me, and I only put a couple in at a time because, you know, they do take a bit to cut, so I don't want to like put 10 in my shop, get all sold at 10, and then can't get them cut fast enough to ship, you see. So that is why that happens like that. But I do my best to just keep up on it. And if you don't see them, you can always message me too, and I'll get you some cut and do it as like a custom order so that you make sure you get them, because, you know, sometimes they keep selling out and you won't ever get them. So I gotcha. Just let me know. Always happy to help however I can, you know, get them to you however I can. So I'm just gonna cut that one, I think. Guess it should have gone up a little. I was gonna go closer to the bottom, wasn't I? I just forgot. Okay, so there's those. And then we'll cut this one. Alright, so that one's done. So let's check on our wax, because that one should be about done too. Oh, I got a snowball. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way, just because that'll take me a minute to get those all back in the pouch again. Oh yeah, it came right up. Now if I can get it off of here without breaking it. It's real thin. Okay, it's a little Santa Claus. I don't know if you guys can see him. So maybe we should rub a little something on him so you can see him. I don't know if this will work, but we'll try. Try white. This is just ink. I don't have any of those fancy you know, waxes that you can rub on these things. Okay. That's the way that's going to be, because it's on there now. And then I thought it would be cute to have it up at the top with maybe just a little bit of it hanging over to go in our pocket. I think I'm going to use Elaine's. Now, of course, if you're doing this challenge with me and like you don't have something, you could just use a wax seal, or you could even use wax paper from your kitchen, and that would work. I was thinking about that the other day, that you could just use wax paper to you know, to use almost like vellum or whatever. So whatever you've got, don't stress about it. Use what you got. Wax paper would definitely count. Anything with wax. Like I said, you could use crayon, so whatever. Alright, so that's going to just slide in there, hopefully. Doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, but you could either, you know, have it peeking out that way or go all the way in and just so you can see the number. Just have Santa peeking out a little bit. So there we have, go this way, 25 is wax, 26 is magazine image. So that is that. Opens, and then there's a pocket back here. I don't have anything in there yet, but we'll work on that. And then this one, wax. I don't know if that's going to stay up there, so that might be another project. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I can't wait to see what you guys make. You guys do such a great job. It's so much fun to see what everybody's making. Oh, and there is a playlist. It is hashtag 50 stack challenge. If you're a creator here on YouTube and you want to do this challenge, just make sure you do the hashtag 50 stack challenge, and that way I can find your video and put it into the playlist. And if I've missed one of your videos, please let me know and I will happily put it in there. I've been trying to keep up, but sometimes it's hard. And like I said, I do try to watch, you know, but sometimes I can't watch the whole video or whatever, but I do try to keep an eye on what everybody's doing. And you can also do Instagram or Facebook, hashtag 50 stack challenge. Those are the only two platforms that I'm on other than YouTube. So, I mean, you can put them other places. That's fine. It's your work. But I'm not going to find them other places. Or if you're just doing it at home for fun, you don't have to worry about any of this. Just do it for fun, because it's just to help us build up our ephemera. All right. So have an awesome day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Bye.